carabiners have become more and more popular, as you know, in the tree care industry, in part because they're easier to open and easier to close and often automatically lock themselves. However, you know, if we are using carabiners in any rigging application, it's generally considered more appropriate to use steel versus aluminum. Steel generally is stronger and has better fatigue properties than aluminum does. But even then, most carabiners are really not designed for heavy dynamic loading. And if they're used, you know, when we use them, we like to use them in a situation where we don't have any dynamic loads. However, if they are used inappropriately, the result could be something like this, and that could certainly be disastrous.
If we do decide to use a carabiner in a rigging operation, we want to be sure to choose a heavy steel carabiner, as Rip mentioned, and we want to be sure that we're not loading them in a heavy dynamic situation. Another thing we need to be aware of is the way equipment interfaces. By that we mean the compatibility of any two components of the system that we build. For example, here we have rope on the Porter wrap. That's a more favorable interface as opposed to, as we said here, with the clevis shackle. Here we have a clevis shackle, and it's a very large stock into the cheek plates of this rescue pulley. Rope is clearly a more favorable interface on metal than metal on metal, although some connections must be metal on metal. Also, because carabiners are tested and rated by pulling them to their tensile strength on half-inch pins, then connecting a half-inch carabiner stock to a half-inch carabiner stock would be more favorable, though common sense might tell us that by connecting this carabiner to a larger stock would be more favorable. Actually, what happens here is the carabiner is being loaded closer to the gate, and it will cause the carabiner to fail sooner.
Now, when we are using rope onto hardware, we want to make sure that the bend radius is favorable. Here we have a 3/8 inch line into a half-inch stock carabiner. That's certainly more favorable than if we were to use a larger diameter line into the same size carabiner.